Your teenager used to crawl into your bed and tell you everything. Every scraped knee, every playground drama, every weird dream they had the night before. You were their safe place, their favorite person. Now you're lucky if you get a grunt before they disappear behind a closed door, and some nights you lie awake wondering what happened. When did it change? Was there a moment you missed? A conversation that went wrong? Something shifted between you and your child? And the worst part is, you don't even know what it was. But your teen didn't wake up one morning and decide to shut you out. That's not how it works. Long before they stopped talking, their nervous system started protecting them. From what? That's the part most parents never see coming. Because the 7 mistakes I'm about to share with you don't look like mistakes at all. They look like love. They feel like protection. And yet, to your teenager's brain, they register as something else entirely. This isn't about blame. This is about finally understanding what's been happening in the silence between you. The first mistake is one almost every parent makes, and it comes from a place of genuine fear. You read their texts, you check their browser history, you go through their backpack when they're in the shower. You tell yourself it's about keeping them safe, and maybe part of it is. But if you sit with it honestly, there's something else driving you. It's the terror of not knowing, the anxiety of imagining worst-case scenarios, the desperate need to feel like you still have some control over a child who's slipping further away from you every day. I understand that fear, I really do. Raising a teenager in this world feels like sending them into traffic blindfolded while you watch from the sidewalk. But when you surveil their life like a security operation, something breaks that you might not be able to fix. Teenagers aren't pulling away from you because they stopped loving you. They're pulling away because that's exactly what they're supposed to do. Separation is how they become themselves. It's not rejection, it's development. But when you violate their privacy, you send a message that cuts deeper than you realize. You're telling them their need for an inner life is a threat to you, that autonomy is dangerous, that you don't believe they can navigate the world without your constant surveillance. So they adapt, they learn to hide, not because they're doing something terrible, but because hiding becomes the only way to have any space that belongs to them. This is how you accidentally create someone who becomes skilled at deception, not because they're sneaking off to do dangerous things, but because lying becomes the only door to privacy they have left. And instead of developing trust in their own judgment, they become experts at managing your anxiety, like an unpaid therapist who never asked for the job. Years from now, they won't remember what you found in their room, but they will remember how you made their need for privacy feel like a betrayal of your love. So what actually works? Trust is the starting point, not the reward. If something specific worries you, talk about it directly. Have the uncomfortable conversation, but stop monitoring their entire existence hoping to catch a red flag before it appears. When you respect their space, you're not losing control. You're building the kind of trust that makes them actually want to come to you when something real goes wrong. The second mistake feels like self-protection, but it's actually a form of punishment. Your teen makes a choice you don't like. Maybe they want to quit the piano lessons you've been paying for. Maybe they said something at dinner that felt disrespectful. Maybe they're dating someone who makes you nervous. And instead of talking about it, you go cold. You give them silence, short answers, the disappointed sigh that says more than words ever could. That tight-lipped look that lets them know they've failed you again. You might not call it punishment. You might say you just need space, or you're processing, or you don't want to say something you'll regret. But to your teenager, it all translates the same way. Your love has conditions. Your warmth is something they earn through compliance. And the moment they step out of line, it gets taken away. I know you're hurt. I know it feels like they're throwing everything back in your face after all you've sacrificed. That pain is real, and you're allowed to feel it. But your teenager is watching how you handle that pain, and they're learning something from it. Some kids internalize this and become people pleasers who spend their lives managing everyone else's emotions, terrified of disappointing anyone. Others rebel, figuring if they can never make you happy anyway, why bother trying at all? Either way, they walk away with the same wound. The belief that love is conditional and that affection always comes with fine print. Your feelings are yours to process. Their job is to grow up, which means testing limits and making choices you won't always agree with. When they mess up, correct the behavior. But protect the bond. They need to know that your love is the ground beneath them, solid and unchanging, even when your approval isn't guaranteed. The third mistake comes from a place of experience, but it creates a wall without you realizing it. You were a teenager once. You survived it. The heartbreaks, the friendship drama, the identity crises, all of it. So when your kid comes to you with their struggles, you think you understand. You've been there. How different could it really be? But you were a teenager before social media turned every awkward moment into a permanent record and every social interaction into a performance with an invisible audience. Before school shootings became something children rehearse for in lockdown drills. Before college tuition cost more than your first house and the job market felt less like a ladder and more like a lottery. Before mental health was something people actually talked about instead of hiding in shame. Their world is not your world. And when you dismiss their struggles as drama because you got through something similar at their age, you're not giving them perspective. You're telling them their reality doesn't count. So they stop bringing their reality to you. Why would they? If every time they open up they hear "when I was your age" or "you'll laugh about this in 10 years, they learn pretty quickly that vulnerability isn't safe with you. And then one day, you're blindsided. They're failing classes, they haven't eaten properly in weeks. They're crying in the bathroom at 3 a.m. and you had no idea anything was wrong. The signs were there the whole time, but you were too busy comparing their pain to your memories to see what was actually happening in front of you. Staying close means getting curious instead of comparative. Ask what it's actually like to be them, right now, in this world. Listen without correcting, validate without minimizing. Because when you parent the teenager you used to be, you miss the one standing in front of you. The fourth mistake often hides behind good intentions. Every conversation becomes a progress report. How are your grades? Did you finish your applications? What about that internship? Have you thought about what this looks like on your transcript? You track their GPA the way some people track stocks. You show up to their games or recitals, but you spend the whole time evaluating instead of just being there. And somewhere in all this measuring, you forgot to ask a simpler question. How are you? Not how are you doing in calculus, not how are you feeling about your college list, just how are you as a person, right now, in this moment. And then it happens. Maybe it's a panic attack in the school bathroom. Maybe it's weeks of barely sleeping that you didn't notice. Maybe it's the moment you find something in their room that stops your heart. And you're stunned. How did I miss this? They were doing so well. But that's the thing. They weren't doing well. They were performing well. Those are two completely different things. And they stopped telling you how they actually felt because they already knew what you cared about. The numbers, the outcomes, the achievements that would make you proud. Why would they bring you their fear or their emptiness when everything about your attention told them that only success earns your presence? What this teaches them stays forever. That their worth is measured in accomplishments, that love has performance requirements, that they are not enough just as they are, only when they are excelling. Some kids chase gold stars until they burn out completely, until there's nothing left inside but exhaustion and the quiet question of what it was all for. Others give up before they start, figuring if perfect is the only acceptable option, why try at all? Both roads lead to the same place, an adult who doesn't know their own value outside of what they produce. What they actually need is simpler than you think. Someone who sees them, not just their stats. Someone who asks about their thoughts and their fears and the random things they've been wondering about, not just their grades. Someone who lights up when they walk in the room. Not because of what they achieved that day, but because they exist. A child who knows they're loved for who they are. Not what they accomplish, doesn't stop trying. They just stop performing. The fifth mistake looks like wisdom, but it lands like rejection. Your teenager comes to you and says something is wrong. My friends are excluding me. Nobody really knows me. I feel like I'm invisible. And before they even finish, you're already zooming out. Don't worry, sweetheart. This won't matter in 5 years. You'll look back and laugh at this. It's just part of growing up. You think you're giving them perspective. You think you're being the calm, experienced parent who helps them see the bigger picture. But from where they're standing, you just put up a closed sign on the door of your heart. What feels small to you is the biggest thing they've ever felt. They haven't lived long enough to know that most pain fades. Right now, this pain is everything. And when you brush it aside, what they learn is that their feelings only count if you agree they're worth having. That's how teenagers stop talking. They figure if it's not a crisis by your standards, there's no point in sharing at all. So they bottle it up, they carry it alone, and then one random Tuesday, you ask them to put their dishes away and they explode, or shut down completely, and you're left wondering where all that came from, never connecting it to the 100 small moments when they tried to tell you something and felt unheard. What if you tried something different? Instead of solving or minimizing, just witnessing. You could say, wow, that sounds really painful. Do you want to talk about it, or do you just need me to listen? Let them tell you what kind of support they need, instead of assuming you know. Sometimes they don't want you to fix anything. They just want to know their pain matters to you, and when they feel that from you, they keep coming back. The sixth mistake is one of the quietest and one of the most damaging. You're there when things fall apart. Grades slipping? Suddenly you're available, crying in their room. Now they have your full attention. But on an ordinary Wednesday when nothing is wrong, you're half present. Folding laundry, scrolling through emails, nodding along while your mind is somewhere else. You're in the room, but you're not really there. And over time, your teenager starts to understand something without either of you ever saying it out loud. I only matter when something is wrong. Your full attention is reserved for emergencies, so they start to associate connection with crisis. This can go two ways, and neither is what you want. Some kids learn to hide their struggles because they don't want to add to your stress. They carry everything alone until they can't anymore, and by then it's often too late for an easy fix. Others start creating emergencies just to get your attention. Not consciously, not manipulatively, just a nervous system that learned the only way to feel close to you is to be falling apart. Drama becomes the price of connection. The real relationship gets built in the boring moments. The silent drives where nothing important is said, but you're both there. The late night when they wander into the kitchen and you put your phone down and just sit with them. The random questions about their day that you actually wait to hear the answer to. If your presence only shows up for crises, you become someone they need, but not someone they want. Like an emergency room, essential when things go wrong, but not where anyone goes to feel at home. The seventh mistake is the hardest to recognize because it often looks like responsibility. You try to control everything. Their grades, their friendships, their attitude, what they wear, what they post, how long they spend on their phone. You have an opinion about everything and a rule for most of it, and the tighter you grip, the harder they pull away. They hide things from you. They lie about small stuff just to have something that's theirs. Some of them rebel just to feel like they exist outside of your expectations. You can't control your teenager into becoming a healthy adult. You can only connect with them into becoming one. That's the difference between parenting and managing. When every conversation turns into a negotiation about curfews or screen time, or who they sat with at lunch, you stop being their parent and start being someone they have to get around. And that creates one of two outcomes. Either they become so good at hiding and deceiving that you never really know them at all. Or they never learn to trust their own judgment because every decision was made for them, and they don't know how to function without your instruction. Neither of those is what you want for them. What you can control is yourself, your values, your boundaries, the emotional climate of the home you create. You can say in this house, we treat each other with respect. When we make mistakes, this is how we handle it. I trust you and I'm still your parent. Teenagers need room to stretch, to stumble, to make choices that make you cringe. That's how they grow. Your job isn't to steer every step. It's to stay close enough that when they fall, they know exactly who will help them back up. Maybe you recognize yourself in one of these mistakes. Maybe you recognized yourself in all 7. And if you're sitting with some guilt right now, I want you to hear something. Every single one of these mistakes came from love. You surveilled because you were terrified of losing them. You went cold because you were hurt and didn't know what to do with that hurt. You controlled because the world feels dangerous and you wanted to keep them safe. The intention was never the problem, but your teenager's nervous system doesn't read intentions. It reads actions, and actions that feel like love to you can register as threat to them. There's something you need to understand about the brain they're working with. It's not finished. The parts that handle logic, long-term thinking, and emotional regulation are still under construction. But the parts that detect danger, scan for social rejection, and feel everything at full volume, those are fully online. So when you invade their privacy, they don't feel your concern. They feel you don't trust me. When you withdraw after conflict, they don't understand your processing. They feel you only love me when I obey. When you dismiss their pain, they don't gain perspective. They learn my hurt doesn't matter to you. That's why the same conversation can feel so different to each of you. You're not speaking different languages. You're running on different operating systems. But here's what gives me hope. The teenage brain is wired for adaptation, which means it's not too late. Research on attachment is clear about this. Relationships don't need to be perfect. They need to be repairable. It's not about never making mistakes. It's about what happens after you make them. If you've been doing any of these things, you can start a different kind of conversation. Not a lecture, not a defense, just something honest. Something like, I think I might have made you feel like you couldn't come to me. I'm sorry, I'm working on it. You don't have to be a perfect parent. You just have to be a present one. Someone who keeps showing up even when the door stays closed. Someone who stays curious even when they give you nothing back. Someone who loves them on the days when their behavior makes that hard. Because here's what your teenager will remember in 20 years. Not whether you checked their phone, not whether you won the argument about curfew, not whether you approved of their friends. They'll remember how you made them feel, whether your home felt safe enough to fall apart in, whether your love felt like steady ground or like something they had to earn. You still have time. The relationship isn't over. It's just waiting. And sometimes the repair starts with the simplest words. I see you. I'm sorry. I'm still here.